On today's episode of Marketing Machines and Mischief, we're covering ChatGPT's internal research, Google's new tools, and what no one is talking about with the new TikTok deal. Let's go. Welcome to the show. I'm Matthew Newell.
And I am Chris Stone, and we're going to bring you everything a day one or day 10,000 marketer needs to know to stay up to date. Juicy show today, Matthew. Are you ready to jump in, baby?
I'm ready to jump in. We've got a lot going on out there in the world's most exciting profession of marketing and advertising. So let's jump in. Our lead headline is new research that gives us the first ever internal look at ChatGPT use. 70% of chats aren't about work, and non-work questions are growing the fastest. Also, nearly 80% of all conversations fall into just three areas: practical guidance, writing, and seeking information. Writing is the top work use, mostly editing text. And almost half of all messages are people asking for advice. And those earn the highest satisfaction, like a cheap therapist, I suppose. The gender gap has closed. Young adults under 26 send nearly half of all adult messages, and growth is strongest in low and middle income countries. And among highly educated professionals, ChatGPT is a tool for work and for guidance, not just routine tasks. We'll put all that research, it's pretty interesting, in the comments. Also, Google is rolling out a new suite of AI-powered tools aimed at helping brands win this holiday shopping season. First up, AI Max for search campaigns enters global beta. It kind of lets ads appear alongside the new AI search summaries, so not just in response to like very specific queries. So also on YouTube, the masthead is now shoppable, which is different and interesting. And local offers can be featured to draw in-store traffic. Advertisers are also getting some new generative image tools, like changing backgrounds en masse. I know that saves a lot of people time, self included. And soon, Google has the Imagen 4, and that will power a new campaign creative in Performance Max and Demand Gen. Those are two kind of tools tucked under the overall umbrella. Loyalty features are being updated too. Perks for repeat customers, shipping benefits, price discounts, all tailor-made, or at least they're saying tailor-made to boost retention. So these aren't going to be incremental. They're getting out there now, so that we have already gotten a look at what your holiday may look like as a marketer and advertiser on Google in holidays 2025. Final news headline: the US and China, as I'm sure you've heard, struck a deal to keep TikTok alive in America. But here's what I think no one's talking about. The reports, this isn't final, but the reports suggest that US users may have to download an entirely new app. That's not just a policy tweak or something that you can just sign away. That is a huge both technical and behavioral lift, even for a powerhouse like ByteDance. So here's what I think is going to be the friction to get tens of millions of users, including our aunts and uncles and grandparents, to have to download, re-sign in, and re-trust a whole new app. For advertisers, that gap between the old and new could mean a major shakeup in reach and retention. At least that's my thought. Chris, do you think the real replacement rate will be for US users, or is there a sharper metric that we should be watching for?
Yeah, I mean, this isn't like a brick and mortar store shutting down for a week for renovations. I mean, this is asking 170 million users to do something a lot of people find difficult. I would say that if it wasn't TikTok, maybe a 50% replacement rate. People are like, oh, I have this app on my phone, delete, right? But it's TikTok, huge usage. I'm thinking maybe 75, 80%.
All right. Well, for a lot of advertisers, I hope so.
All right, it's now time for Real Recognize Real. Here's a campaign or a marketing trend that caught my attention this week. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's the fall. And what better way to bring in the fall than with football and Applebee's? Yes, that's right. The wonderful Applebee's is tying in the NFL with the wonderful head coach of my Detroit Lions, MCDC, Motor City Dan Campbell. Not only Motor City Dan Campbell, but what a fantastic campaign that I wish the food was better, but a fantastic campaign that pulls in Eagles running back Saquon Barkley, not just Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell, but also the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, who's currently injured, Brock Purdy, Ashton Genty, the rookie Raiders running back, and it is really super funny. Absolutely fantastic campaign. And you know what, Matthew? I just might get some potato skins just because of this campaign.
It worked. It worked. You know, I tried some MCDC once in high school and should wait a little bit. My real recognized real, I want to talk about the pairing of Brian Cox and McDonald. So a lot of you know Brian Cox is the actor Roy Logan of Succession on HBO, but he was also leading up to that, a very well-respected Shakespearean powerhouse. So when they hired him on, this has been a year or two now, I just didn't see it. But every spot that I've seen since then has been outstanding. This guy doesn't just read copy, he performs it. The cadence, the gravitas that make that fast food feel cinematic. So let's just quickly play that 15-second spot and you will hear what I am hearing.
There are sandwiches you eat. And then there are tangy barbecue pork with pickles and onions McRib sandwiches, whose eating is such an event. It must be documented. The McRib is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
He even does the ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
That one sealed it for me. His delivery makes a sandwich sound like a memory. Nostalgia and drama in every single bite. And the brilliant thing is McDonald's knew what they were doing. Brian knew how to deliver. They have proven that a voice alone can elevate brand because real recognize real. Don't you say so, CS?
Real does recognize real. And I really, really am hungry now for a McRib sandwich.
That's right. Well, yeah, you're dying around nothing but wings and ribs and
Right.
all right. So we are going to play a quick game called Over Under. Here's how the game works. I'm so looking forward to this. Here's how the game works. Chris and I take a marketing scenario that is real and has an absolute answer, just not one that is going to be obvious that we could just go to the internet or ChatGPT or anything. Something that we can get the real answer to. So initially, we're going to stick with either big companies or big brands just to make sure that, we're playing 1 or 2 degrees of separation instead of 6. So one of the parlor games in our industry of marketing and advertising is always how big is the marketing department. So we're going to start the very first one with Chevron. So Chevron was founded more than a century ago in California. They operate in over 100 countries, oil, gas, renewables, et cetera, et cetera. They still have a marketing department. So the over-under is how many full-time internal in-house marketing people does Chevron have just in the US? So maybe that's a caveat too. So no agencies, no creative agencies, no PR, that kind of stuff. And just to give you, Chris, just a little bit of a baseline, they have 45,000 employees worldwide. So of those 45,000, how many do you think are full-time marketing people?
Okay. I'm going to set the over-under at 475 marketing employees. What do you think?
475. I may be the only thing I would say you are dangerously close to the exact number, except for that they're not, and I say this with all due respect to Chevron, they're not like a marketing first company.
Right.
So I'm going to say it's going to be a little bit smaller than that. So I'm going to take the under. But here's the thing. We need someone who's watching. If you know someone or you know someone who knows someone, slide into their DMs in a respectful way, and let's get this answered by next week.
All right, folks, that's all for this week's Marketing, Machines, and Mischief.
And as they always say, like, subscribe, etc. But most importantly, drop your over-under guesses in the comments. And if you actually have the answer, don't spoil it, but send it to Chris or myself. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week.